For years, the last thing I saw every night was my phone, not the ceiling, not darkness, not peace, just endless scrolling. One more video, one more post, one more check before sleep. And without realizing it, my brain stopped knowing how to rest. Every night followed the same pattern. I would get into bed thinking I would use my phone for just 5 minutes. Then suddenly, 40 minutes were gone, sometimes an hour. And the strange part was, even after putting the phone away, my mind kept scrolling, thoughts racing, random conversations replaying, imaginary scenarios, anxiety, overthinking. My body was tired, but my brain felt wide awake, and sleep started feeling incomplete. Not terrible, but never fully refreshing, like my mind never truly shut down. But what affected me the most was something smaller, something I almost ignored. Sometimes my mate would already be asleep beside me, while I was still staring into a glowing screen, physically next to someone, mentally somewhere else. And one night I realized something uncomfortable. I was ending every single day with a device instead of real rest, silence, or connection. That moment stayed in my head, so I decided to try something simple. No phone in bed before sleep. Not for 1 week. Not for a dopamine detox challenge. For real life. And somehow, that small decision changed more than I expected. The first few days were honestly uncomfortable. Way more uncomfortable than I expected. Because I realized something. I wasn't just using my phone. I was using it to avoid silence. The moment I lay in bed without it, my brain immediately looked for stimulation. I would instinctively reach for my pocket, check beside the pillow, feel like something was missing, and suddenly, the room felt too quiet. That's when I noticed how automatic the habit had become. Not conscious, automatic. My brain had built a loop. Bed equals phone equals dopamine, and dopamine equals stimulation. Every single night, for years. And once the stimulation disappeared, my thoughts became louder. Not because the thoughts were new, but because the phone had been drowning them out. That part surprised me. I thought removing the phone would instantly calm my mind. Instead, for the first few nights, it exposed how overstimulated my mind already was. I also noticed how deeply short-form content had affected my attention. My brain constantly wanted something new, something faster, something stimulating. Silence started feeling boring. And honestly, that realization scared me a little, because boredom used to feel normal. Now my brain treated stillness like a problem. But after about 2 weeks, something slowly started changing. My nights became quieter, not silent, just calmer. The urge to constantly check my phone became weaker. My brain stopped expecting stimulation the moment I touched my bed. And for the first time in a long time, sleep started feeling deeper. Not just longer, deeper. I started waking up feeling mentally clearer, less foggy, less scattered. And something else changed too. My relationship with time. When I stopped scrolling at night, my evenings suddenly felt longer, more intentional. Sometimes I'd just sit quietly, sometimes think, sometimes reflect on the day. And strangely, those moments became some of the calmest parts of my routine. I also noticed changes in my focus during the day. My attention span felt less fractured. I wasn't craving stimulation every few minutes. And my mind became slightly better at staying with one thing at a time. Not perfectly, but noticeably. And honestly, one of the biggest changes was emotional. When your brain constantly consumes information until the exact moment you sleep, it never fully decompresses. You carry noise into your sleep. Opinions, videos, news, conversations, algorithms. But removing the phone created something rare. Space. Space for my brain to slow down naturally. I also started noticing smaller things again. The feeling of being tired. The feeling of calm. The feeling of silence. Things that constant stimulation quietly disconnects you from. And I think that's the real problem with night scrolling. It's not just about sleep. It's about losing your ability to simply be present with yourself. Now, obviously, quitting phone use before sleep didn't magically fix my life. I still overthink sometimes. I still get distracted. I still waste time occasionally. But removing that one habit removed a layer of mental noise I didn't even realize I was carrying every night. And over 6 months, that small change started affecting everything else. My sleep, my focus, my awareness, even my relationships. Because the habits we repeat before sleep quietly shape our mental state more than we think. And most people never question it. We question our productivity, our motivation, our anxiety, but not the fact that our brains are consuming endless stimulation until the final minute of the day. Now, when I go to bed, the last thing I usually see isn't a screen. It's darkness, stillness, sometimes a conversation, sometimes my own thoughts. And honestly, that feels healthier, more human. If you feel mentally exhausted lately, try observing what your mind consumes before sleep. Because sometimes the problem isn't your brain. It's that your brain never gets a chance to breathe. This is Betterverse. Understand your mind. Transform your life.